What's up, everybody? My name is Raymond Summerlin's the Sharp Angles podcast, and we are back for another year, another season of the Thursday Fantasy Football podcast. Not quite ready to get started with week one. We've got one more draft to knock out with our friends over at DraftKings. Rich and I are going to talk about that draft, talk about any news, talk about anything that's going on in the fantasy football world, how we're approaching drafts, why Rich thinks that drafting wide receivers is dumb, all that fun stuff. We're going to get to all of that on this episode of the Sharp Angles podcast. Make sure you stick around. And here we are, Rich, the Sharp Angles podcast, Thursday edition, the fantasy football edition. We're back for another year. I'm Ray. He's Rich. We're going to be talking about fantasy football all year long. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast, the audio version, the YouTube version, wherever you find us. Make sure you subscribe. We really do appreciate the support. We will start next week. Like we're almost there, Rich. We're going to, at this time next week, as we're recording this, we're going to be talking about real, actual NFL games. We're going to be breaking down real, actual fantasy football games. No more of these petty arguments about when you should draft whom and where they go. We're almost there, Rich. We're almost to your worksheet previews. We're here. We've made it back for another NFL season.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've got a fun college football slate this weekend. We've got we roll kind of right into week one NFL with the Thursday, Friday games again. I'm definitely looking forward to it because, we've been talking about the same stuff for like 6 months and it's all player takes. The one thing I always like about the worksheet is like it adjusts like as the NFL season is going and we get to talk about actual movement that's happening with the NFL and the changes we made. So I'm looking forward to it, actually. Ask me again in October, but right now we're looking forward to it.
I do always try not to complain ever because like we just have such a cool job. So there's no reason to complain. But I will tell you that once November rolls around, there is some burnout of the cycle, the now 1 week longer cycle that we have, and I assume soon to be even a longer cycle that we have. But here, staring at the beginning of it is definitely a great feeling. And like I mentioned, I know you're already working on your worksheet previews every single week of the fantasy football season. You preview every single game. You go at in-depth preview covering both fantasy. There's also betting advice, betting nuggets you can take out of that for every game. It's up early in the week. We start posting the first of those on Tuesday. All of them are finished by Wednesday. It is the best way to get ready for a week of NFL football. That is all part of our fantasy football package, which you can head over to sharp.football. You can find all the information about that. You can find all the information about our draft kit, which is still open. If you're drafting this weekend, we're about to draft right now as part of the DraftKings contest. If you're drafting this weekend, that will be the best way to get ready for those drafts. You can get both of those as part of our fantasy football bundle. All of that is available at sharp.football. Make sure you check it out. If you already have the draft kit, you're not part of the in-season package, make sure you're getting part of that in-season package because these worksheet previews from Rich are just excellent. They're going to get you ready for the season, and they're going to be out really soon. I think on Sunday, we're going to have our first one of the year. So everything's going to be there for you. Make sure that you are checking that out, sharp.football. All right. We are actually going to get into the last of our drafts. We've been doing these drafts with our partners or DraftKings. We've been drafting in their Best Ball $15 million contest. They're offering a great deal on this contest, which is still open, by the way. Obviously, we just got into it, picking for the first time in the middle of the draft here in pick 6. Hey, look at that. We'll talk a little bit about that.
I have 107 in a main tonight too. Like, so, all right. Like we're like, finally, I've been just living on the either end. So it's going to be fun. I also think too, like as we get to this time of the year, picking in the middle is almost advantageous because you start to get a little general population in some of these drafts. And then in the middle, you can kind of scoop up maybe like a value that falls, but on either end, it's harder to do.
So that's the thing is we've been, we keep laughing about how we have continually been at the back end of these drafts and we've been doing these. And that's where we have preferred to draft throughout most of the year just because of the talent you're able to get at that 1-2 turn. And then there's still value there at 3-4 as well. But for the purposes of this, of, making content, it's never great. But now you're right. As we get further in here, as we see some guys fall, I'm very interested There's a report that came out. We recording this on Thursday morning. Report that came out Thursday morning or Wednesday night, I can't remember, about Kyren Williams and Blake Corum maybe sharing carries. So are we going to see some Kyren Williams fall? So there could be some falls. We've obviously seen Achane fall, even though now it looks like he is going to be ready for week 1. And so we've seen some of this, change in how we're valuing players. And so we can pick that up. AJ Brown's another guy who's obviously falling with some of the concerns about his injury stuff. So yeah, it is an interesting spot, and it's a welcome change for us because of where we've been drafting. Draft did just start. Ja'Marr Chase went 101. Before we talk about that, though, I do want to mention, if you want to be part of this contest, DraftKings offering a great deal. Enter a lineup in the $15 million best ball contest for just $20. You'll score another best ball ticket to play for free for a share of $15 million, giving you a second shot to win big. Make sure you take advantage of that and go draft with our friends over at DraftKings. Still open, still spots in these drafts. It's a fun way to spend a holiday weekend firing off a few of these. All right, we're about to come up. A draft started with Chase, Robinson, Gibbs, and Barkley. As Rich was kind of talking about, we see that push of those running backs. Then we have CeeDee Lamb. What are you thinking here?
We can do whatever. We've done a McCaffrey team. We've kind of taken a bunch of teams. If we want to mix it up, if we want to do like a Jefferson here, or just do Nico Collins and see what happens. I'm pretty open. I'm these first 2 picks, I'm usually open and like splitting RB1, wide receiver 1 in either order. We can take McCaffrey and just keep betting on what we believe is going to happen there too. So
I think we take a McCaffrey team here just because it's what we've been doing, and it's what we believe in. Is this kind of
true
anchor RB idea? I do like Jefferson there. I mean, if Lamb had fallen to us, that'd have been getting Lamb at the 1-5 is, congratulations to that drafter. Getting Lamb.
We considered almost getting cute with Lamb at 101 last night. And like we ultimately just like after talking through it, just didn't do it. But we like had the conversation of, obviously they could be like NFC Cincinnati this year, and just have to absolutely throw the football around the yard, and with those 2 good receivers. So we did talk about it for a second, but Lamb is I would almost consider Lamb now 102 in PPR with the Caleb McGarry injury, like just enough little bit of shade to maybe say, all right, like what if this is an issue for Bijan Robinson.
So just for differentiation, I have passed on Lamb for Robinson and Gibbs sometimes, but just so I don't have a ton of Lamb if I'm picking 2-3, right? Because you can get them a lot, 2 or 3. But if I was just making one bet, that'd be CeeDee Lamb, and I wouldn't really even think about it. Like you said, I think the way that sets up. In fact, I'll be recording a podcast later today with Warren where we're looking at some props, and there'll be an interesting one about Dak Prescott kind of in this vein and the way that we expect the Cowboys to have to play this year and the way we expect that offense to function. And so, yeah, I'm all aboard on CeeDee Lamb being at worst the 1-2 for me. We saw the wide receiver run come, which is not surprising after we saw so many running backs early. Obviously, the usual suspects. We did see again Puka fall to 16 to 2-4, which I continue to find interesting. We're up, so Brock Bowers is gone, Chase Brown is gone, Achane is still here. I've been chasing this Achane fall by week 12. Let's do it.
Then we'll just start just hammering wide receiver.
We're just gonna go a ton of wide receivers. I've been chasing this Achane fall for a long time. I'm kind of surprised it continues with the good news that came out about him, like very likely being ready for week 1.
I also think it's Dolphin. I think a lot of people are starting to have like the Dolphins vibe. Like they're just like, you know what, maybe we're going to leave the Dolphins. I'm starting to get that from like the community is like, we're just not going to do anything with the Dolphins.
And I think that's fair. Like I do. There's a reason why Mike McDaniel is the favorite right now for first coach fired. All of that is fair. But the thing about Achane is that even if it's all going bad, you still expect him to get a ton of catches. Yep. And a full PPR site like DraftKings, I'm very excited to get him here in the middle of the second round.
Yeah, and with McCaffrey too. I mean,
absolutely.
To have 2 just PPR running backs. I mean, listen, make the joke. I mean, listen, drafting running backs early is back. The Clips and Chance the Rapper are making good music again. And Dexter is good again. Like life is cyclical. Like we are just full. Like we've been on the internet so long that we just come all the way back around.
Man, I can't wait. You're telling me Simple Plan will be back soon? Is that where we're is that where we're headed? I saw a TRL from like it was like one of those the top 10 on TRL in 2005, and I was like, oh, what a simpler time. What a simpler time that we used to live
Good
in.
James Cook turn 2-3 turn that you don't see very often.
Yeah, again, this is one of those drafts we are seeing running backs pushed up. It makes us feel better about getting those two guys. I think T. Higgins is still here.
Yeah, we probably won't be for long, but you never know.
Yeah, never know. Kyron is here. Obviously, Tyreek is here, as you mentioned. We could just go full. We could go full YOLO Tyreek Tua. Like that could be a fun game for us to play here. Marvin Harrison Jr., Devontae Adams. That's kind of what we're looking at from a wide receiver.
I also don't mind. I mean, this is where I've moved Tet McMillan. Like I think Tet McMillan should go after JSN. That's kind of where I've slotted him. So I don't even mind him either at this spot.
Would you take him over T?
No, I'll take T still.
Yeah, I think that's where I am, but I am high on Tet, and so I'm not
getting T2 at this spot. Like is a McCaffrey HANT team. There probably is not a lot of those.
I wouldn't. There he is. All right, we got to take T Higgins. I think. Just based on price, and hope that as I was doing all the other things I had to do this morning, I didn't miss terrible T Higgins news. That would be
which you never know with him, which could be
exactly. That's always the concern. Is that it's very possible as I was doing my other part of this job that I missed some T Higgins news. But yeah, getting him there certainly feels good.
And also, we might get a chance to see Tet come back too, which would be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that might happen. And the other aspect of it too is that I do wonder if that Chase team, the Chase team did Hampton Cook at the turn, if they pass on T, then it's not that surprising for him to fall, right? Like some of his ADP at the best ball sites is people trying to get Chase Higgins, Burrow.
We tried to make a conscious stack last night, a conscious effort last night. We're picking from 101 to not do the T at 2-3 and then Burrow 4-5. Like we tried to make a unique Chase team as much as we could.
Yeah, and I've been trying to do that as well. And I have a Chase team out of the 3 spot that had Higgins and Burrow, so I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, you do have to get interesting, especially if you're drafting a bunch of teams. That you have to go that way, especially since neither you or I are particularly high on Joe Burrow this year from a fantasy perspective. But hey, sometimes you just got to shoot some darts. Sometimes
it's easy to tuck yourself into that stack. You know, we were at it. We had it last night. We even had like a little bit of a falling Hurts, and we kind of after like a half hour, we were like, if we take Hurts now or regret it in 20 minutes. And then 20 minutes later, it was like 20 minutes later, it was like, you know what? We're really glad we passed on Hurts. And it worked out. Obviously, it's a little different in these best ball leagues because everybody's going to take 2 quarterbacks, some 3. But in your season-long leagues, I even wrote it up in the draft plans. I was like, if you don't get one of these top 4 quarterbacks, wait. And then my next thing was, no, wait longer.
Yeah.
That was like the next thing. Because you can get like just viable starters so late this year in start 1 quarterback leagues.
Well, I mean, I've said it time and again, and I think he goes a little bit higher in managed leagues. But the fact that Jordan Love is the QB 17, QB 18, somewhere around there in these best ball leagues with what I expect to be a more pass heavy attack this year, it's just wild to me. It just doesn't make any sense. And yeah, if I can get him as my 1 quarterback in a 1 quarterback league, I'm perfectly content with that, even with, the Reed injury and the Watson injury and all of that. We're coming back here. Like you said, we might have a Hurts decision to make. I think in this build, I'm still taking Tet, assuming that he's there. And there Sutton goes, all right, yeah, we're going to take Tet here. Hope that the little injury he has right now is not going to stick around. We're gonna hope on that. But yeah, with Adam Thielen gone, he is set up to get a ton of targets this year.
I mean, think about if Bryce Young makes that throw where he gets hit on last week, where he torches Derek Stingley on the double move. I mean, he has a 55-yard walk-in touchdown, and the pressure gets to Bryce Young, he gets hit, and it's incomplete. If that pass is completed, he might be like Travion. Like it might the Travion Henderson.
Well, there was like preseason week 1, he had like a touchdown just barely like he just barely missed a touchdown, right?
And you almost hope for those to happen when you're on a guy. You're like, you just
absolutely, because all we care about, we don't care about those like plays. We care about usage. That's what we care about because it doesn't matter, right? Those plays in preseason don't matter. We know that we are pretty sure Tet's good. It's good to see him be good, but we're pretty sure he's good. We care about usage, and we know now, especially with Adam Thielen gone, what this usage is going to be. And so, yeah, I'm very in on Tet McMillan. And I think he's going to way outperform even this draft cost here in the middle of the fourth round. Tony Pollard, 4.8. That's high.
It isn't an aggressive room for running backs right now. He did go over James Conner, which you usually don't see.
He went over Breece Hall. He went over Chuba. Yeah, he went over Conner. He went over Harvey.
Yeah, Harvey too. Yeah,
that's interesting.
And we have a James Cook turn team too. Yeah.
No, I like Pollard. I like everything's fallen well for him here. I think Cam Ward is good. I think that offense can be better. The offensive line, we need it to be better. But, obviously Spears is already on injured reserve. And so you're going to get a lot of what you saw last year from Tony Pollard from a usage perspective. So I like Pollard, but that is definitely aggressive. Not wrong, just aggressive for sure. So I imagine we're still thinking about pounding wide receiver here, although
I think so. I know like Connor is there, but like we still have like Ridley. Ridley would probably be the target if it was me. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I would be Ridley or Pearsall. I'm really in on Pearsall right now, and Pearsall's definitely not coming back to us. But yeah, I think Ridley is probably the safer bet out of that group. So let's see where we end up. We got Chua. There goes Burrow. Breece Hall goes. Yep, Ridley it is.
Yeah, we just do Ridley.
Just do Calvin Ridley and call it good. We do end up with two quarterbacks here two wide receivers on a
that's fine. That's not like the ones
we ran into something of an issue with that in the draft we did with Warren Sharp. We weren't paying as strong of attention as we maybe should have been, but yeah, we're gonna be good here. This does give us some late round quarterback options with Cam Ward and with Bryce Young. I'd be higher on Cam Ward.
Even Tua, I think, could be stacked with the Achane, and who knows? We might be looking at Waddle coming back anyway.
I was about to say Waddle could definitely come back, and if Waddle comes back, then we could certainly make a Tua argument here as well.
But this is where Pearsall and Egbuka have gotten to. Like they've jumped like Travis Hunter like pretty fully.
Yeah, and I like Pearsall better than those guys. I like Egbuka better than you do. We've already had that conversation, so we don't need to go over it again. But yeah, I think Pearsall jumping this high makes a ton of sense given what we've now seen out of San Francisco with their injury situation. He's just going to be the guy. Like they're getting excited about, Kendrick Bourne and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. That shows us kind of where we are, right? Like it is time for us to just accept that Pearsall.
Sky Moore is never the answer.
I want it to be true. I really do. I really do want it to be true for him. But we'll see. We'll see where we go. But yeah, I think there's a chance Waddle sticks around here. We also have an opportunity here, maybe at Rice, Rashee Rice.
Oh yeah, I would definitely be in on that. I actually moved Rice up with yesterday's news. I think if you've read the work that I've done, you're probably not surprised by that. But yeah, I just encourage people, you don't take zeros for those 6 weeks that Rashee Rice isn't playing. And anyone that's like, well, that's half the fantasy season. Well, remember, you didn't have Puka Nacua for half the fantasy season last year. And when he came back, he was the guy you needed. That always exists, the range of outcomes here.
Yeah, the fact that we know it's 6, which is, I think, what we kind of expected at the beginning. The fact that we know
they had to have come with 8 in the initial thing.
The report was 10.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's 6, right? The fact that we know it's happening at the beginning of the season, all of that is pushing you that way. And I do think he's going to end up here. There he goes. Roma Dunze goes. Rashee Rice. We're feeling good about that.
Yeah, I think we do Rashee here. I mean, he's perfect as a wide receiver 4. I just think he is perfect on your rosters. And it is me saying with a little hubris though too. Like I believe I'm a good enough player to work around this Rashee Rice for the upside angle. I just feel like it's like he could impact the fantasy back half of the fantasy season so greatly at this type of cost. I think way more so than some of the guys that went off this round, like Deebo Samuel ahead of him, Zay Flowers ahead of him. I just think for an upside stance, Rashee Rice just offers a lot more.
Yeah, like you can make arguments about Waddle, right, with the Hill variability, with Smith with an AJ Brown injury, Adunze, who we know that he's a second-year player who we think is talented, and there's a lot of hype, and I think valid hype around him. Golden, like there are a lot of upside guys here, but yeah, you're right. Is Rice more likely to be a guy that matters in the fantasy playoffs than Deebo Samuel or Zay Flowers? I think probably, yeah. Even though I'm not against those guys. So yeah,
Right.
the upside angle is what you're playing for here. Remember, you're playing to win, especially in best ball. You're playing to win. That's where we are. Tyler Warren, the Tyler Warren helium man, and
It's
I'm
gotten
looking.
there in the FFPCs too. Like he's like basically like a 6th rounder, like just over there.
Yeah, and I'm not even against it. It's just going above a Laporta. Laporta's obviously fallen a little bit as well. We've seen that slip
We said
happen.
these
Yeah,
late drafts are always great to get into, man.
yeah, no, I always save bullets for the last week. I'm always feeling good about these drafts. This is a point. The quarterbacks are starting to come off the board, so this is a point we could start thinking about that. Although our quarterbacks that we could really stack around are not here, and so we can do with that what we want. At running back, we're to kind of
I was
getting rid.
looking at Olave. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, I was going to mention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris
We
Olave
could
here.
do Diggs. We have not taken Laporta. We could also take Laporta. Like that's not a guy you and I have been drafting. Like we could also do that. Also, I mean, it's fine. Just keep taking Diggs and then just keep hammering wide receiver. Like this is the plan.
Yeah, no, we'll just take Diggs here. I like Stefon Diggs at this point. It does open up Drake Maye for us as well if we wanted.
Oh yeah,
wanted
all
to
the
do that.
backdoor QBs. We're gonna leave them all open this draft.
I need to start putting some of these in my queue so I remember who it even is that we're looking at. Yeah, Tua and Bryce and Cam Ward. Definitely looking at 3 quarterbacks here.
Oh yeah.
For
I mean, but this
sure.
is a hot start though. I'm not feeling ill on this at all. Feeling pretty strong. If we can land the plane here.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling great. There we got Bill Krosky Merritt at the 7-7
Woo!
at 79.
What was he? RB? I forget. Does it show you on DraftKings what they were? RB? What?
I don't know. I don't see what RB it was, but it was ahead of Tracy, just after Aaron Jones, ahead of Jordan Mason, which is somebody I could be interested in the next pick for sure, ahead of Jaylen Warren, ahead of the only Zach Charbonnet. I don't need any more Zach Charbonnet in my portfolio, so I will not be trying to convince you to do that.
I mean, hey, if he's, I won't push back if he's there. I mean, it's.
We don't need any more. I don't need any more Zach Charbonnet. I'm having to. I'm going to see if there's a way I can just remove him from my queues in at DraftKings. That might be for the best. Like protect me from myself on Zach Charbonnet. But yeah, there are lots of running back options here. I assume we're probably going to go that way and continue to push quarterback. Tight end, like we're just there's still just a lot of guys I really like. Ingram, Andrews, Njoku, Kraft are all still around, especially since we're going. This is definitely going to be a 3 tight end as well. So yeah, there are we have a lot of options here if we want to take one of these last kind of few running backs that we at least have decent feelings about as we get to this point. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, we've still got what do we have? We have Jaylen Warren, we have 2 Pittsburgh running backs, kind of as the top guys. There goes one of them, in Caleb, and then it's kind of like you said, it's to the Jordan Masons, the Tutons of the world. We could probably push that around if we wanted to, and so yeah, it'd be either Andrews, kind of Hawkinson. Although there goes Mason, so maybe we can't push it as far as we wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the next 3 in ADP are Warren, Charbonnet, Etienne. If you get past that, then you start to not feel as great about some of these buttons you're clicking. And so I might see with the way this is going with two running backs just right in front of us. I might just take one here and
Okay.
then try to push it.
I mean, I'm fine with it. We also have those 2 anchors where like we can kind of throw rookies at the wall and the backups and not feel as bad just because we're counting on Achane and CMC to do so much lifting. But
I mean, this is the last draft we're doing. You know who we need to draft. We have to draft Jaylen Warren. Like, is there really? I mean, we just have to finish the story, right? Shout out Cody Rhodes. We just have to finish the story here. We have to draft Jaylen Warren. There we are. We've got our Jaylen Warren. Our
8th round Jaylen Warren.
I really hope if you've been following along, someone's kept track. I can go back and look at the teams we've drafted. at least 80% you and I together, Jaylen Warren, right? That's where we are with him.
I mean, he just falls in that just pocket where we've already hit wide receiver pretty hard. It's like kind of like the last of a fall off to the next group of running backs. We know he's going to play. He's a better and a best ball guy too. He's not like a guy in managed leagues you're probably going to be really happy to have rostered.
No, yeah, I'm not against it. Like I'm all in. I clicked the button for a reason. This makes perfect sense. He's a guy I'm also getting a lot in my own personal drafts as well. It all makes sense. He's another one of those Charbonnet that I'm having to convince myself not to draft and to pass on in some of these, so I just don't end up with too much. Another guy that's been going around this area that I just think is probably mispriced is Michael Pittman Jr. Especially with Warren flying up the board. Like the things that you like about Daniel Jones for Tyler Warren, you have to also like about Daniel Jones for Pittman as well. And you have to like him for Josh Downs as well. But Josh Downs, is he going to be on the field as much? Obviously was dealing with an injury. I think he's going to be fine though. And so Pittman's another guy here. If we wanted to hit another wide receiver, makes sense to me. I don't think we've drafted, but I do think this next pick is probably Mark Andrews or David Njoku. Is that where you are?
Yeah, I think if Andrews makes it there, he'd be. And then Tucker Kraft goes, and Tucker Kraft's starting to climb a little bit too, as I've seen.
It's not a little bit. As somebody who is tried a lot to do the Golden Kraft love stack, Kraft is going ahead of ADP. So if you want to draft Tucker Kraft right now, know that he is going ahead of his ADP and kind of adjust for that. And like you said, he very often now is going ahead of Andrews and kind of moving up the board for sure. So just know that if you're drafting this weekend or you're doing a lot of DraftKings drafts, that you're going to have to draft Kraft early if you want him based on ADP. Jayden Reed comes off the board. That Jayden Reed foot stuff is.
I mean, listen, we took him reluctantly last night he was wide receiver 55, but like you just don't feel good about taking a receiver with a broken foot.
And I was reading some.
Oh, we got Andrews. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we ended up drafting Andrews. Yeah, so we got Andrews there, so we're feeling pretty good about that. But I ended up, I was reading, I forget even now who it was, but they were talking about the, like just the mechanism for recovery for this kind of injury and how pushing it early can really harm the injury and lead to issues in the future if he is actually dealing with a minor Jones fracture. And everything about it is just, I don't know about that, which again pushes me towards Tucker Kraft. There's a reason Tucker Kraft is rising. It pushes me towards Golden as well. So like,
is the ghost of Dontavian Wicks alive?
He'll be open. Can he catch the ball? I don't. That's a much better question. He will be open. I believe that he will be open. I mean, it's not sexy, but I guess draft Romeo Doubs. If you want to know what wide receiver is going to be on the field for the Packers, you're pretty safe there, right? So we end up with Etienne coming off the board, Williams coming off the board, Pittman does come off the board, Goff, Fields. We're getting to the end of this quarterbacks where we're going to have to just.
Yeah, I would be looking at Drake Maye if we could.
Yeah. If Maye is here, that's definitely our pick, I would say.
Football season is right around the corner, and there's no better way to lock in your fantasy dominance early than with Best Ball on DraftKings, where you draft once and ride your roster all season long. And right now, DraftKings is giving all customers a can't-miss offer. Draft one, get one. Enter a lineup in the $15 million Best Ball contest for just $20, and you'll score another Best Ball ticket to play free for a share of $15 million, giving you a second shot to win big. It's easy. Just draft your dream team once, no weekly management required, and let your top scorers automatically start each week. Across the whole season, every breakout star, every clutch play, every touchdown will count towards your quest for a share of $15 million. And if you're looking for someone to plug into your Best Ball lineup, there's nothing better to buy than year 2 wide receivers. Looking at wideouts that have been selected outside of the top 24 based on years in the league, second-year wideouts have delivered the highest hit rates for beating their ADP and delivering wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 scoring seasons. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app now to draft your $20 Best Ball lineup to play for a share of $15 million and get a second ticket to play free for a share of $15 million. That's 2 chances to win big without ever setting your lineup again. Draft one, get one. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Yeah, no, this is 100%. And we can also get your guy. Hunter Henry later on if we want to.
Yeah, there's nothing like those Drake Maye Hunter Henry teams, man.
You love him. I'm trying. Well,
I've been trying to be reluctant too, because Drake Maye has the week 14 bye, so I've switched over. I'm doing a lot of FFPC drafts these last weeks, and he has the week 14 bye, so I've been like factoring that in to the Drake Maye exposure. So I haven't been getting him over there.
Yeah, the week 14 bye at FFPC it's tough. There he is. There's our boy. Yeah, this draft's fallen for us.
It said picking in the middle like this late in the year can all just kind of work itself out naturally.
It is definitely.
You just let the room draft for you.
Yep. Just let the pieces fall and be happy.
So we can buy one of these rookie running backs maybe, or if we wanted to add like someone like Colston Loveland to Andrews, we could do that. But like we have like Tutu, Scatabo. Like if we wanted to throw any of those guys into the mix.
You have any interest in Eckler now? With kind of
in best ball, I'm fine. In best ball, I'm still fine with it. In managed leagues, he's just the archetype that I feel like you're going to just be mad most of the time of like trying to get him right, like we talked about Jaylen Warren. But in best ball, I think he's going to be a pretty solid pick.
We also have Braylon Allen here if you wanted to take a shot on that. Ramondre, I think Ramondre. I'm not excited about Ramondre Stevenson. I want that to be clear, but I do think he's probably going too late. Like he's going after Tank Bigsby.
We also took him last night too at RB 44. We were just like, why not?
Yeah, like I just think he's going too late.
I could also Dylan Sampson here too. Like I feel like Dylan Sampson hasn't climbed enough. I mean, this Judkins thing is just never resolving itself. It feels like like we keep trying to price it in. And Sampson with the first team last week looked good, really good again.
Yeah, no, in fact, I have him here in my queue. We could probably push him to the next pick.
Yeah, we probably can.
This is the time of the draft where you just do it. It's also a question of how many more running backs do we even want to take,
right?
Because we have, we obviously started with McCaffrey and Achane. We're going to end up with 6 spots on quarterbacks and tight ends. So you have 14 spots left. I guess maybe 8 and 6 is what we're looking at. So you start to kind of question that when you're thinking about who you're going to be drafting here.
Yeah, we could also just, get a decent tight end again and just back it up. But I think this is where you start to see like that little pocket of like the Tutons and everyone come off the board.
Yeah, we did just see Scatabo go off the board as well. We have Thielen just went.
Ooh.
That's interesting. That's certainly interesting. Again, not bad, just interesting. Then our favorite Kirk goes here. Do you want to just?
Is Keon Coleman available?
I don't think so.
Did I miss him? I might have.
I think he went. Yeah, okay. Keon Coleman went. You want to just do Sampson? Let's just do Sampson.
Yeah, I want to talk to Sampson.
Let's just do it. Why not? What a time to be alive. Get your guys.
Listen, we're feeling ourselves in this one. We might as well. Yeah. Might as well just let it let it rip, man.
Yeah, let it rip, guys. Excited.
He doesn't even have a picture. It's so great. He's got a Browns helmet on DraftKings. Couldn't even give him his own photo.
I do think we probably have to take another quarterback here in just a second. I would push for Cam Ward. I like everything about Cam Ward at this point, but I know you have concerns. But like none of the quarterbacks.
Well, week 1 I have concerns, but like big picture, it's whatever.
Well, none of the quarterbacks you have concerns about. You just don't think he's going to be that big of a runner, which is probably true. But like none of the other quarterbacks we're looking at here, Young. Yeah. Well, Young did last year at the end of last year. To be fair,
we could definitely. I think Bryce Young is definitely in place. So we could probably get both those guys. Whereas we probably want to do 3 anyways.
Oh no, we definitely want to do 3. But like if we are looking at Herbert, Penix, then Young, then Ward. So, like, we might even have to double tap here to get that caliber
to make it happen.
Of 2 backups. Yeah. And there goes some of the tight ends you might be targeting anyway. There goes Young.
Yeah. So there
goes Penix.
We've done this DraftKings game.
We've lost. We've gambled and we've lost.
We know how this goes on DraftKings.
Well, I don't know.
No, we're good. We saw
this person's got 2 quarterbacks. The next one we'll see. Still has Herbert sitting there. Oh no.
Always.
Hey, we survived. Cam Ward, thank you. Thank you for drafting Dalton Kincaid. We bless you and your family. No, it is. It's another one of those runs we had. So we draft Dylan Sampson at the 126 at 11-6, and then our next pick was at 139. And in between that, we had C.J. Stroud, J.J. McCarthy, Tua Tagovailoa, Bryce Young, Michael Penix, and Justin Herbert, all to the same teams, all double tapping quarterbacks like we had kind of talked about doing.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
the pocket. Just looking at your visual, if you're watching this on the YouTube, the visual of Ray's screen right now, it shows a draft for him. You can just see all the quarterbacks, like the red, like these last 3 or 4 rounds. It's just you can see this is the pocket where all the QBs go.
By the way, if you're listening to this audio, first of all, thank you. We appreciate it. But this video is available on our YouTube, Sharp Football Analysis YouTube. Go and check it out. Go and subscribe, and you can get a view of the draft board and where we are and how we, as always, tried to push it a little bit too far with quarterback. But we're fine. We're fine. It's fine.
Oh, we can still get. We can honestly, if you still want to hit it again, we don't have either receiver, but just adding Stafford to this roster is fine too.
So would you do Stafford over Geno, over Darnold, over those guys?
I think they're all in the same tier. So it's, I like his receivers more. I do know that.
Yeah, but I do think that, like, since there are 3 of them there and we just saw all those teams go heavy quarterback, we probably don't need to do that now, and we could do it on the way back. You know,
we could wait. We could wait and push one.
Yeah, we could just push one of those. And so we could look more at the running back. I mean, Bigsby is still there. If we wanted to do that, Ramondre is still there if we wanted to do that. At wide receiver, if we wanted to, keep the pushing to the future going, Ayuk is there. Josh Palmer is there, who obviously I like. Tillman is there if we wanted to get more onto that. The Browns beat. Oh, there goes Ramondre. Anybody you're feeling here? Tight ends, Brenton Strange is here, who obviously I'm high on. What are you thinking?
Tootin is gone.
Tootin is gone. Hunter Henry as well here. If we wanted to. Oh no, Tootin's right there. Never mind. All right,
let's take Tootin.
All right, there we go.
Let's add some young blood to the mix here, to the good running backs that we already drafted.
There goes Tootin.
Yeah. And these are the kind of rosters I like to get these guys on, where you're not, because in years past these would be guys that would be competing for like my RB2 spot because I'm anchor running backing and. Hey, we're going to throw these guys all at one position, but now they're kind of luxury picks this year. I forget how that feels. I'm used to starting these bad players.
I would definitely be interested in Bigsby over Tootin still. I'm still there, but yeah, like it makes sense because we have the two guys. And so might as well take some shots. We see Ollie Gordon go as well here in the 13th round, which I assume he's just going to keep moving up with the Jaylen Wright news, and rightfully so. We wouldn't take him obviously because we have Achane to start, but it makes a lot of sense going with Ollie Gordon this early as we're getting to this part of it. I'm still interested in Tyjae Spears. Like, I know that it is just a high ankle sprain, and I know he's going to miss the first 4 games, but that it seems like maybe we're overreacting to that a little bit.
Yeah, he'll be back. He is coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I think that maybe the pricing is overreacted to that a little bit, getting him down here with like Woody Marks and Will Shipley and Tyler Algier and those types of guys. I think we probably have overreacted a little bit to that, but we don't really need to push running back. In my perfect world, we'll be drafting Kyle Monangai as our 6th one, and that'll be the end of that. So we'll see where we go. Tight end, we did see Strange go, but we still have Hunter Henry here. Feels like I might just press that button.
I think we do Hunter Henry, and then we can try to see if one of the QBs comes. We just get our 3rd quarter. There goes Stafford.
Yeah, Stafford.
What does the board look like to our left? Is it everyone's got 2 tight ends?
No, nobody has. Only 2 of them don't. And then only one team only has 1 quarterback. So that's kind of where we are. So do we want to try to push Darnold or do we want to push Henry? I think
it's either way. I'd just take Henry. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm just going to take Hunter Henry because I feel better about kind of what we're building here with Henry.
Just take the tight end.
We'll take Henry, and we'll hope for the best here. That Darnold comes back around. What a state of affairs. That I'm hoping that Darnold.
This is also a team because the both QBs that we have selected have double-digit bye weeks. That it also could be a dart team. I know. I mean, we've been dart pilled anyways, but like he looks so good. Oh, there he goes. I manifested it.
I do like. I feel like it's almost a meme at this point about us drafting Jackson Dart and Theo Johnson, but
I mean,
I
in these
love it.
DraftKings where the 3 QB builds, like Dart is just so like he feels because he's going to be starting at least probably halfway through the year.
Yeah, and I love him.
And he put a bunch of pressure on the way he looked this preseason. Every game the Giants lose, the first question that Brian Daboll gets asked, win Jackson Dart.
Yeah. No, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. That's who they should be playing. I like dart pilled. I hadn't thought about dart pilled yet, but no, we have been dart pilled here at Sharp Football Analysis. That is for sure. And there goes Darnold. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so here we go. It'd be Gino if he makes it.
No, Gino's gone.
Oh, they're all gone.
Rodgers.
Oh, so it's a two banger.
Yeah, I don't think we're drafting Rodgers or Jones or certainly not Wilson, Flacco. They're not going to be starting by that point. Yeah, all right, we're done with quarterbacks. It's fine. We don't need them anyway.
We can roll into two. Christian McCaffrey and Devin Achane got us.
Yeah, who needs a quarterback? I'll probably take a wide receiver here. I mean, Cedric Tillman's still here, and I'm in on that one. How do you feel about it?
I have no real pushback. Tillman, Doubs, like we talked about Doubs a little bit, getting a little bit of juice too. He probably could go. He'll probably end up still being there though.
Well, Doubs is all right. Let's take Doubs. Doubs is next up in ADP. We'll see if Tillman.
Was he?
Nice. Yeah, if Tillman falls. Tillman, I believe, is dealing with an injury, but I think that he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit more faith in just betting on the Packers offense at that point. We have one Brown. I feel like there's a one Brown limit.
Oh, yeah. I forget that we drafted Dylan Sampson. Never mind. I'm glad that you got me away from that. So we got 3 more picks here. One of them is going to be a tight end for sure, and then probably 1 wide receiver and 1 running back. That's kind of where we are.
Yep.
Maybe 2 wide receivers. What are you thinking? Oh no, we have way more picks than that. Never mind. I'm a liar. We have 5 picks left. We have 5 picks left. Yeah, we have 5.
But we had talked about taking a third quarterback, and now that's kind of taken out of our hands.
Yeah, I don't think we're. You want to bet on the Tyler Shuck second half?
No, Rodgers would be the only guy that I would say like you might add points to this roster because you might just get like 2 or 3 games that he actually outscores these guys. But
yeah, at tight end, I mean, anybody should stand out there if we're going to get this third tight end. We got Jonnu, Gesicki, who I'm just not even drafting. We got Waller. I think you might be a little bit higher than Waller than consensus just by accident when we're talking about,
Yeah, I had that come up in the chat last week, and it was just kind of like the Zach Ertz. I basically labeled it like the Zach Ertz factor. Like we've got a very flat land of bad players, and by default, like it's one guy that has like production, so like he's just kind of slotted there. And you do have to factor in a little bit what happened with Jonnu last year. Could this still be in the range of outcomes? But
we also have Pat Bryant here if we want to take another shot on a young receiver.
Like a younger player that I don't have a problem with as well.
All right, let's take a shot on Pat Bryant here. Again,
you could do Tyjae too. Did he go? Like if you want to do Tyjae Spears, I'd be totally cool with that.
He's still here. Yeah.
Just take him.
It's way too late to me, right? Like, and so we're gonna end up here with 6 running backs, and maybe I wouldn't do that normally, although it is 20 rounds.
We took 2 outright rookies though too.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, yeah. When I end up with like really heavy starts at running back, I don't normally end up with 6 running backs, but it is 20 rounds, obviously here at DraftKings, and so yeah, I'm fine with that. And then we can see what comes back. But I do think we're probably done with running backs now, which means my 1-2 king Kyle Monangai will not be on our team, but you should draft him. You should draft him in the later rounds because I'm really interested in how many touchdowns he scores this year. So that's where we are at tight end. Like I said, we do have, I believe, did Waller go? No, Waller's still here. We did just see Harold Fannin go. I was going to bring him up, and then I remembered we have our one Brown policy.
Yeah.
we
passed on Fannin last night and regretted it. He didn't make it back to us. We were going to take him as a backup in FFPC, and he started to trickle up.
Yeah, I like Fannin. I'm a fan of.
I mean, yeah, good prospect.
And based on how we kind of expect them to run the offense, the issue they're having at the number 3 receiver spot, like it all makes sense to me. Wide receiver here. I mean, we're gonna have another Slayton team. Is that where we're going? I'd probably take Jatavian here or Waller. Do you just want to take Waller?
That's fine. I mean, it's fine. We can take. Yeah, we already took the one. Oh, we already took Doubs. I was gonna say we can mix Wicks in, but we could do Doubs. We already did Doubs.
All right, I had to press a button. We're talking a little too much. Like, this is the part.
That's what we do.
Yeah, no. This is the part of the wide receivers that I don't like. This is the problem I always run into whenever I do running back. This is in my drafts. I'm normally drafting running backs here because this is the part of the wide receiver group that I just don't care about any of them. Like, does that make sense? Like,
no, it's fair.
Like,
there's a reason they're down here.
Absolutely. But I feel like I can make a lot better arguments for running backs at this part of the draft than I can for the wide receivers at this part of the draft. Like, if I go through the running back list that's available here, and I have Monangai there, and I have Rashad Smith, and I have Damon Pierce, even Kendre Miller, I'm not going to like make a strong argument for him, but these are guys that I can at least say, all right, I see the pathway for this guy and I feel okay with it. And if you would have just wanted to do, pure handcuff stuff with Corum, especially with the news that they're going to get him more involved, we'll see kind of how that works. Or even like Sean Tucker, who, like, it seems like if something were to happen to Bucky Irving, that might be a better situation for Tucker than it ends up being for White. And so, like, there are lots of names there, but I get to the wide receivers, I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's why I end up drafting Darius Slayton a lot. I guess that's fine. We do have Yoshivas here, but like,
we have Higgins. The clock on Malik Washington now.
I mean, hit it. I'm fine with that. Hit Malik Washington. We do have Diami here as well, if you're interested in that. Just trying to find some names here on this list that we're okay with. We do have I still am
into Tutu Atwell down here too. I'm just a guy that's going to be on the field a ton. Then now that they didn't sign Amari, they were rumored to be in on Amari, and now that they didn't sign him, like, it's just kind of open because Jordan Whittington's not going to push him. Like, that's his position. Like, Jordan Whittington needs an injury, so Tutu's going to be out there and 3 wide receiver stuff just like locked in.
Yeah, I'm fine with that one as well. I've talked about Tyquan Thornton. I've talked about some of those guys that as like one of these late round guys that you can throw a dart at.
Yeah, and Alec Pierce goes. He's another guy that's just like on the field. Like, we've got guys that like are still on the field. They're just going to run into the goofy stuff.
Yeah, like there are names down here. I just, like, when I get down here, I feel a lot better, and it doesn't make any sense because those running backs probably are going to be on the field less.
They're not on the field.
Yeah, they're not on the field, but I feel better about, like, the upside case I can make for those guys, I guess is where I am here. One guy who I do think, like, I'm just going to take Washington here because he is a guy you can make an upside case for sure. Like, he's definitely one of.
What do we have? Is that 7? Is that 7 receivers?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah. So we're at 2, 6, 7, 3 right now.
I mean, I hate to say, I actually do think that if it comes back, if Rodgers is there, he probably does to make sense for this.
All right. Yeah, I'll take him.
I mean, I think he does. Just adding the third quarterback, just whatever points he gives us to this room. He's just adding more points to this roster than anyone else we're going to take, especially with us having 7 receivers already. Like,
yeah, I'm fine with it. I mean, I don't know even if he's starting by the time the other quarterbacks are on. But, like, we'll have to just
he's going to start the year.
I mean,
it's the Steelers, man. Like, they're not punting, dude.
No, I'm not saying they're punting. He's just an older guy. You've had the Achilles a couple years ago. I don't know, like, everything about it. I just don't even care about Aaron Rodgers.
That's our future vice president.
Will he and RFK Jr. and Aaron Rodgers 2032 I think that's our next. I think that's the election after next. I don't remember, but yeah, like, I don't know. Well, he and DK
I threw you off your game.
When he and DK just get into a fight, who knows? Who knows? It is funny that he's gone this far. Like, he's going after Jones. He's going after Flacco.
He's going after Rattler and Flacco. Like, I don't know if anyone as excited as I am to see some more Joe Flacco in my life. Like, I don't know if anyone's looked at that Brown schedule. Like, we are not going to be long in the Joe Flacco world, I don't think.
Well, that's my whole problem. Like, I think we talked about this when we did the win totals draft, is that they get the Bengals week 1, play Joe Flacco in week 1. I feel pretty okay with that. There will be some Joe Flacco and Joku Judy stacks in my future. But after that, it gets really rough. And I do think we're going to see, And it's sad because I do think this offense with Joe Flacco can be competent. We saw it be competent with him a couple of years ago. We saw it be competent at least with Jameis Winston, obviously with the mistakes thrown in for both of those guys. But from like a yards per play perspective, it was definitely competent. And now, he gets this start to the season that it probably means we're going to see the rookies sooner than later. And so it's just disappointing because if they had a better start to the season, I would be very interested in Flacco at this point and building Flacco stacks around Judy and Njoku and Judy and Tillman and that kind of stuff. But I do worry that he's just going to be benched because they're going to be 0-5 after this starting run and, have to see what happens. So it's just a tough situation for Flacco that ruins what could, I think, be fun fantasy. Because I do think that Stefanski is a good offensive coach. I just think we don't bad that offense is with Deshaun Watson compared to literally every other quarterback, including Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Like, you just have to go look at the splits. It is wild how bad it was with Watson, and I think that makes us underrate kind of the entire situation. But ultimately, a lot like the Giants.
And Gabriel actually might not be like that bad because he's more of a bus driver. You see, he doesn't have the arm strength, but
he fits that offense. Like,
he doesn't have the arm strength, but he's a processor. Like, he can process. And I'm saying like he's going to be like a great fantasy, but like he just won't be Deshaun Watson. Is what I'm saying.
That's really where we are. Like when Dorian Thompson-Robinson runs the offense better than you, like that's the level. That's the level we're at now. And we'll have to see. And apologies to our good friend Tucker for talking bad about Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I apologize to everybody. So this last one's probably going to be a wide receiver here. We got Tutu, Thornton. I have Jaylen Lane in the queue just for the funsies. Just for the funsies. Why not? Just throw him in there. Dotson here. I mean, it is kind of fun, right? To Jahan Dotson. We're in the have a good time.
I think a lot of people are, because he had some good reports, and then they've had Devontae and AJ Brown have both missed a little bit of camp time, although that looks to be precautionary. So it was in the news. So people,
I'm not mad at it in the 20th round. I'm not mad at it in the 20th round. That's all I'm saying. Horton, I'm surprised Horton's not even higher. He went to the 16th with obviously the way stuff has fallen for him. Although, as we know, that's going to be a lot of two.
Yeah, I mean, he's more of I think they're counting on saying, well, if Kupp is truly washed, maybe he has a chance to come in and elevate during the season.
But yeah, that's an interesting guy. So there are names. I was talking about how I don't know if they're. Oh, there goes Kyle. I love you. Draft Kyle. Here we go. Tutu Atwell.
I think Atwell makes the most sense.
Yeah, no, we're done. We got him. We're in.
This is listen. I mean, we ever since the first one, though everyone we've done on these has all just come together pretty good. This is a good one. Here.
It's an interesting draft. Again, like, and I said, one of the things I like doing, one of the reasons I like drafting with you is we do build teams that don't look like the teams that I just build by myself, which is a good thing to kind of get that differentiation here. So we ended up with McCaffrey at 1-6, and then Achane, T. Higgins, Tet McMillan, Calvin Ridley, Rashee Rice, Stefon Diggs, Jaylen Warren, Mark Andrews, Drake Maye, Dylan Sampson, Cam Ward, Bashal Tutin, Hunter Henry, Romeo Doubs, Tyjae Spears, Darren Waller, Malik Washington, Aaron Rodgers, and Tutu Atwell in the last round. So we ended up with 3 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 8 wide receivers, and 3 tight ends, which I do think at DraftKings is like my ideal build. I don't know. It doesn't normally come about this way with Aaron Rodgers as my last quarterback, but I do think that is
this the first Rodgers team you have?
Oh, 100%. This is the first Rodgers. I have not drafted a single DK Metcalf or a single Aaron Rodgers, which is funny because we do have Jaylen Warren on every team, including this one. And so there you go. We're going to hope for some Aaron Rodgers to Jaylen Warren points here for us. This is the time of the show, now that the draft is over, where we do our DraftKings Best Baller. This will be our last one here of the offseason. How sad for us, right? Talking about, we've had so much fun drafting these, but we got one more time to talk about our best ballers. Remember, you can head over to DraftKings. You can take the shot at their $15 million best ball contest. Check out the link in the description to learn more. Our best baller is a guy we're feeling great about that we've drafted. Not the first guy. Obviously, we feel good about Christian McCaffrey. We've talked about why we like Devin Achane, but one of these guys later on that we're drafting a lot of that we feel great about, and kind of why we feel great about this guy. Who on this list do you think we should talk about here? Sampson, is that maybe an interesting one? Who you got?
Sampson, we do Calvin Ridley. We haven't talked about really this year.
Calvin Ridley, go off on Calvin Ridley because we're in sync on Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, Calvin Ridley, obviously, we've seen the last couple years, like these wide receivers get a new quarterback. Obviously, Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton last year, Nico Collins 2 years ago, CJ Stroud kind of gives them a big bump. And when you look at kind of this layout still for Calvin Ridley on the Titans and what they've done this offseason, it's still, he's going to command like just a gigantic target share like he had last year. You look at what he had in terms of like red zone target share and overall target share. Those are the types of things you want to hone in on. And then he's getting a quarterback that can unlock kind of the downfield stuff that's always injured him, that injured him last year playing with Will Levis, obviously, right? 18.6% of his targets with Will Levis were inaccurate throws. We did see when Mason Rudolph played only 10%, and we saw some spike weeks from Calvin Ridley with Mason Rudolph. He's now getting Cam Ward, who is the best deep ball thrower in this class. 19% of his throws, 20 or more yards downfield, were touchdowns. In college. We love that. He threw the second highest rate of passes, 10 or more yards downfield. He was second in completion rate on those throws. We're going to get him just a lot more of those looks. And when you look at just like stuff like Matt Harmon does work or kind of isolate the receiver from quarterback play, and you can find some of this in like some man coverage splits, Calvin Ridley was still standing out. Like, you know, he was still wide receiver 9 in target rate against man coverage. He was just under 3 yards per out run against man coverage, which was wide receiver 5 on the season. So he's still winning in isolation. And that's always kind of a real good sign to say like, hey, this guy still has it. He's impacted by other variables. So yeah, Calvin Ridley, upside pick here as our wide receiver 3 on this roster.
Yeah, no, I'm for that as well. I also think we saw, like, to your point about with the like what we know from Cam Ward, what we saw, like the preseason numbers weren't great, but we did see him push the ball down the field as well. And like I think specifically about that one that Van Jefferson dropped, that's like ball, like there were some of those situations that I think that, you know, Ward was maybe better than what his numbers suggest, because he wasn't often playing with like Ridley. He wasn't playing with those guys. But like I said, we did see him push the ball down the field. So yeah, everything here is pointing up for Ridley, that the quarterback play is going to be better, and that, you know, this team, we still don't think it's going to be particularly good, so he can get all of those targets. The situation around him, I did find it here. Cam Ward's air yards per attempt in the preseason was 10.7. So there you go. He only had 19 attempts, like, so obviously we're not talking about a major sample size here, but he did push the ball down the field. So everything about everything about this points to good news for Calvin Ridley. And Calvin Ridley, like, the argument for him is similar, I think, to the argument you would make for Olave, for Jerry Jeudy, but like maybe at a higher level of like, this guy's just the clear number 1 wide receiver on this team, and there's not a ton of competition for that. Like we're trying to talk ourselves into Chig Okongwu being like the number 2 target getter on this
which
team.
He's been 3 years in a row. Like
exactly. Yeah, that's
but I have it here too. Yeah, really only ran 7 routes in the preseason. As you know, in and out. They didn't need to see much of him, but he was targeted on 3 of those with Cam Ward. Like Cam Ward targeted him on 3 of 7. Like we're going to see a lot of that. He's going to be a guy that is like a high target per route guy.
Yeah, absolutely, because they don't have anybody else to throw to. So everything about Ridley is good there. I'm happy we took him ahead of Ricky Pearsall, but I will say Ricky Pearsall is somebody that I have continued to move up with everything that's going on with Juwan Jennings. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens there. It's funny because a lot of these guys we could talk about Tet McMillan, we could talk about Stefon Diggs. Like I said, we could talk about Dylan Sampson.
I mean, this was a good one.
You could talk about Tutu. I don't know if I'm quite there with Tutu, but there are lots of names on this board that we could talk about. But that's it. That's our last one, Rich. that's our last draft. This time next week, we'll be talking about the NFL regular season. Rich and I do this. We record this every Thursday morning throughout the NFL season. Make sure you subscribe to the audio podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, wherever you find us. We really do appreciate it. We'll be talking fantasy. Warren Sharp will be in the feed talking with lots of people, including Rich, about previewing all of the content we have. We might even have a waiver wire specific show with an interesting guest. We'll see how that kind of comes together starting in week 2. A lot of things coming up on the podcast feed. And obviously, if you are drafting yourself this weekend, if you're firing off the last of these best ball millionaire contests, you want access to Rich's work. You want access to the draft kit. You want access to his tiers. You want access to his playbooks, his quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end playbooks, where he tells you how he's approaching drafts, who he's drafting. All of that is part of the draft kit. And if you get the fantasy football bundle over at sharp.football, you'll also get access to his in-season content. Like I said, those weekly rankings, and most specifically, those weekly worksheets where he previews every game, every single week. I don't know if I can harder sell it than that, but it is worth it, Rich. I'm not just because you're here. I would say it if you weren't here. I'd say it even if you were my worst enemy, which sometimes you are. It is definitely worth the price of admission. It's the best work you're going to see in the fantasy football business. So make sure you check that out. Rich, we'll be back next week to do it for real, to do the real thing. We appreciate y'all listening, and we'll talk to you real soon.